What if a simple iron nail became the hottest currency in paradise? So valuable that sailors started ripping their own warship apart just to get more. Could temptation alone doom an entire expedition? Well, in 1767, that's exactly what started to happen when the British frigate HMS Dolphin anchored off Tahiti, turning a routine supply stop into one of history's most fascinating tales of human desire, cultural misunderstanding, and the hidden cost of discovery. The story begins in the mid-18th century, a time when Europe's seafaring nations were obsessed with mapping the unknown. Britain, fresh from the 7 Years' War, refitted the 24-gun HMS Dolphin for exploration. This ship was already a record breaker. Under Captain John Byron in 1764, it completed the fastest circumnavigation of the globe at the time, all while hunting for the fabled southern continent, Terra Australis Incognita. They didn't find a massive landmass, but they did find scattered Pacific islands, sparking excitement back home. Reports of exotic wildlife, lush landscapes, and friendly islanders fueled dreams of untapped riches. So, in August 1766, the Dolphin set sail again, this time commanded by the ambitious Samuel Wallis, tasked with probing deeper into the Pacific. Little did they know, this journey would uncover not just new horizons, but a provocative chapter in cultural exchange that would echo through history. The first leg of the journey was tough. After crossing the Atlantic, rounding Cape Horn was brutal. 3 grueling months battling fierce winds and towering waves that snapped masts and strained the hull. Wallis's team meticulously charted the treacherous Strait of Magellan, adding valuable knowledge to Britain's maps. But by April 1767, as they finally entered the vast Pacific, scurvy and shortages began to ravage the 94-man crew. Fresh water and food were dwindling. Men grew weak, their gums bleeding from vitamin deficiencies. Desperate, Wallis steered northwest toward rumored islands, hoping for relief. On June 6th, they sighted the Tuamotu archipelago, grabbing what coconuts and fish they could to stave off starvation. Then, just days later, more land appeared on the horizon, a verdant jewel rising from turquoise seas. On June 19, 1767, HMS Dolphin dropped anchor in Matavai Bay, Tahiti, which Wallis promptly named King George's Island. This marked the first documented European arrival on the island, a moment filled with both possibility and peril. But Tahiti wasn't some empty Eden. For centuries, Polynesians had thrived there, their society a vibrant tapestry of clans, rituals, and incredible seafaring skill. When the massive ship appeared, hundreds of canoes swarmed out, laden with breadfruit, pigs, yams, and curious islanders paddling fearlessly towards the floating fortress. The initial contact buzzed with wonder. Tahitians offered gifts freely, touching the sailors' pale skin and red coats in awe. Wallis, who was recovering from illness in his cabin, ordered trades to begin: beads, cloth, and especially iron tools in exchange for provisions. See, iron was completely alien to Tahitians, who worked with stone and wood. A single knife or nail gleamed like a treasure, sharper and stronger than anything they had ever known. An informal exchange rate quickly emerged. A 3-inch nail could get you a 20-pound pig, and a hatchet was worth baskets of fruit. But as the days passed, a more subtle and much more complicated dynamic began to unfold. As sailors were granted shore leave, they mingled with the locals. Tahiti's beauty was intoxicating: cascading waterfalls, palm-fringed beaches, and a climate that felt like eternal spring. Yet beneath the warm welcome were layers of complexity the British couldn't understand. One afternoon, a group of sailors wandered into a sacred grove and unknowingly started chopping down trees tied to Oro, the god of war and fertility. Soon after, 3 women approached, adorned in feathers and flowers, performing gestures the British misinterpreted as simple flirtation. Unbeknownst to the sailors, these were likely priestesses in a seasonal festival, where such acts symbolized prosperity and alliance. The women sought iron nails, but the sailors, thousands of miles from home after months of isolation, saw something else entirely. Back on the ship, the gunner clarified what was happening. These encounters were trades, with nails as the price for intimate favors. What started as a few isolated swaps quickly exploded into an all-out frenzy. Crewmen exhausted their spare stocks of nails, then began prying them from hammock hooks and rope cleats, items essential for the ship as daily function and rigging. Whispers spread through the crew. Would the ship even hold together? Or would this insatiable desire for nails pull it apart, plank by plank? The tension peaked over the next few weeks. Officers grew alarmed as the ship's carpenter reported more and more missing fastenings. Hammocks dangled uselessly, forcing men to sleep on decks slick with tropical rain. Ropes frayed without secure cleats to hold them, and the hull creaked under the strain. Wallis, still bedridden, was relying on second-hand accounts that painted a picture of near mutiny driven by indulgence. From the Tahitian perspective, the nails weren't just trinkets. They were status symbols, incredible tools for carving, and powerful links to these sky gods who had arrived on a floating island. The cultural miscommunications only amplified the chaos. What the British saw as simple promiscuity was often a form of ritual hospitality, where sharing bodies was a way to foster bonds in a society that had no concept of metal currency. By late July, with the ship's holds brimming with provisions and the crew revitalized, Wallis knew he had to leave to avert a potential disaster. He ordered their departure, but not before the nail trade had etched itself into naval lore as a legendary symbol of unchecked desire in paradise. The homeward voyage was smoother. The Dolphin arrived in England on May 20th, 1768, claiming a historic feat: the first ship to circumnavigate the globe twice. Wallis's reports dazzled London, inspiring artists and paving the way for Captain James Cook's famous visit just a year later. Yet, the nail saga overshadowed many of the actual discoveries. The story was exaggerated in taverns and pamphlets, creating myths of a ship falling apart for favors. This sensational tale ignored the deeper exchanges of knowledge and, more importantly, the tragic aftermath. Captain Cook later noted a syphilis epidemic ravaging Tahiti, likely introduced by European ships, which devastated local populations and altered island life forever. This wasn't just a quirky anecdote. It was a stark reminder of exploration's double-edged sword, a story of wonder laced with exploitation, where a humble nail bridged worlds, but also sowed the seeds of irreversible change. As the Dolphin limped home, held together by sheer will and a lot of pitch, its story lingers. It makes you wonder, in a world of vast oceans and unknown horizons, what small temptations might unravel even the sturdiest of ventures. If this incredible tale of trades and tempests sparked your curiosity, hit that like button. And if you've got a wild voyage story of your own, drop it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe for more hidden gems from history's high seas, and share this video to sail the adventure to your crew. Thanks for watching.